It's a universally frustrating feeling, isn't it? You stare into a crowded closet, it's just overflowing with clothes, and still think, I have absolutely nothing to wear. It's such a paradox. Like, how can we have so much stuff, yet feel so little satisfaction? And we're constantly pulled by new trends, the next big thing, that must have item, that feeling. It's pretty much the direct result of a system built on speed and, well, disposability.
Today, we're pulling back the curtain on that very phenomenon.
Yeah.
We're taking a deep dive into the world of fast fashion, an industry that, yeah, it shapes our wardrobes, but also carries some truly significant and often hidden environmental, social, and economic costs.
Exactly. And for this deep dive, we've gathered, well, quite a rich stack of sources to guide us. We're drawing insights from organizations like Oxfam GB, some really in-depth analyses from Wikipedia on the environmental impact of fashion, crucial findings from the European Environment Agency on microplastics, and compelling research from Scientific Research Publishing on textile dyeing, along with some practical guidance from brands like DUR. It's pretty broad base. Right. So our mission today is to really understand fast fashion. Where did it even come from? Its surprising origins, its global footprint, and most importantly, what you can actually do about it. Ready to dive in? Okay, so let's start by defining our terms. What exactly is fast fashion? At its core, it's about the lightning fast replication of catwalk trends and high fashion designs.
Yeah, basically taking what you see on the runway.
And then mass producing it cheaply, rushing it to retail, aiming to hit shelves while demand for those trends is like peak high.
Exactly. It's that impulse buy, that here today, gone tomorrow piece.
At speed, though, it hasn't always been this fast, has it?
Well, no, not quite like this, but it has certainly been turbocharged. If we trace its historical roots, you could, go all the way back to the Industrial Revolution. Technologies like the sewing machine made clothes much cheaper, much easier to produce. And that era also saw the emergence of early sweatshops, sadly, as localized dressmaking businesses employed workers for, frankly, meager wages. That foundation has just been supercharged in the 21st century with this explosion in mass consumption, creating a cycle where we're kind of always wanting more.
And when we think of the big players in this space, names like Zara, H&M, and Shein immediately pop up.
Absolutely.
Zara, for example, really led the charge with a model where a designer idea could go from like concept to store shelves in as little as 15 days.
15 days.
Yeah, creating this incredible sense of urgency for consumers, like buy it now before it's gone forever. It's almost FOMO built right into the business model.
It really is. And it's truly remarkable how companies like Shein have pushed that even further. Their test and repeat model involves producing an astonishing 100 to 200 new items daily.
Daily.
Wow. Daily. They only scale up production for what becomes popular, based on immediate data. This strategy has just fueled their massive revenue growth from, $10 billion in 2020 to a reported $100 billion in 2022. And this ultra-fast fashion, as some call it, even encourages items to be worn maybe only a couple of times before being discarded, making clothes almost single-use.
Which is wild, and it all relies on really compelling marketing, doesn't it?
Oh, Italy.
You think about social media influencers, those haul videos where people show off these huge amounts of new clothes they've just bought. It all drives this constant desire for new, often disposable items. It creates this sort of supermarket market where new products are constantly available.
Always something new catching your eye.
Exactly, making you feel like you need to keep buying. It preys on that nothing to wear feeling we talked about right at the start. But what's truly unsettling and critically important to understand is the profound environmental toll of this industry. The impact on our planet is simply staggering. Where do we even begin to quantify that, particularly environmentally?
You're absolutely right. The sheer scale is, it's staggering. And there's probably no better place to start than with water. Water consumption and pollution are truly alarming. Think about this. The fashion industry, from the clothes on your back to the latest trends, guzzles 93 billion cubic meters of water annually.
93 billion.
Billion. With a B. That's enough to meet the daily needs of 5 million people.
Wow.
It makes it the world's second biggest water consumer right after agriculture.
That completely reframes how you think about just a simple pair of jeans.
It does. A single pair can take about 7,500 liters of water to make. That's roughly how much water one person would drink in 7 years.
7 years for one pair of jeans.
Yeah. But it's not just about consumption. Textile dyeing and finishing. They are major culprits. They're the #1 polluter of clean water after agriculture. An average-size textile mill can consume about 1.6 million liters of water Haley. And somewhere between 17 to 20% of all industrial water pollution comes from this sector. And the wastewater isn't just dirty, it's often full of over 8,000 toxic chemicals,
8,000 chemicals.
including heavy metals like lead and mercury that harm aquatic life and human health. And what's chilling is that many of these chemicals simply cannot be removed, meaning that contaminated water often flows straight back into rivers, into ecosystems.
So if water is taking such a massive hit, what about the air we breathe? Is this just about factories, or does our clothing contribute to emissions in ways we might not expect?
Oh, absolutely. The air isn't spared. Fast fashion accounts for about 8% of the world's greenhouse gas emissions.
8%. How does that compare to
Well, to put that in perspective, that's more than all airplane and shipping emissions combined.
more than planes and ships combined?
Combined, yeah. And producing materials like polyester, which is, super common in fast fashion,
Hmm.
contributes significantly to these emissions as it's derived directly from fossil fuel.
Okay, that's huge.
And this raises a crucial question. What happens to all these clothes when we're done with them? I mean, where do they go? The statistics are, well, they're alarming. In the U.S., a staggering 85% of clothes consumed end up in landfills.
85%.
85, that's nearly 3.8 billion pounds annually, or, put another way, about 80 pounds per American per year.
80 pounds of clothes per person in the trash.
Exactly. And here's the kicker. Less than 1% of clothing is actually recycled to make new clothes.
Less than 1%.
Less than 1. So when these discarded items, especially the non-biodegradable synthetics like polyester, go into landfills, they can leach chemicals into the ground. Or, if they're incinerated, they pollute the air. Though, to be fair, some countries like France are making efforts to prevent the burning of unsold items.
Okay, so landfills or incineration, neither sounds good. But I've also heard about microplastics.
Ah, yes, microplastics. Here's a truly chilling thought. An estimated 35% of all the microplastics choking our oceans come directly from washing our synthetic textiles.
35%, just from laundry.
Just from laundry. That means our everyday washing cycles are invisibly contributing this massive ongoing stream of plastic pollution. A single domestic load of laundry can shed up to 700,000 microfibers, tiny plastic fragments.
700,000 from one wash.
Yeah. And these are then ingested by marine life. They enter the human food chain through a process called biomagnification, basically. These tiny particles build up and become more concentrated as they move up the food chain.
Eventually reaching us.
Exactly. What's even more concerning is that microfibers are released throughout a textile's entire life cycle, from production to wearing and washing, but the majority are released in the first few washes.
Right, so the fast fashion model with its short usage cycles is particularly bad for this.
Precisely. And beyond the clothes themselves, think about all the packaging from online shopping. That adds significantly to waste, too. About 75 million tons generated in the U.S. alone.
Just the packaging.
Yeah. And to illustrate the global waste problem, just look at Ghana. Around 40% of secondhand clothing donations sent there cannot actually be sold or reused, so they end up polluting rivers and communities. It's a truly overwhelming amount of waste flowing around the world.
It really is a global problem then, touching every part of our environment, and it extends beyond just synthetics, right?
Oh, definitely. Even natural fibers like cotton, which seem benign, demand huge amounts of land, water, and pesticides for production. That all adds to the environmental toll. And things like leather production are directly linked to deforestation, particularly in places like Brazil, where land is cleared for large-scale cattle ranching. The environmental footprint is just immense across the board.
Okay, so we've painted a pretty stark picture of the environmental damage. It's a lot. But behind every cheap garment, there's also a human story, isn't there? And often it's one of profound injustice. It's not just about what we wear, but who makes it and how it's made. The human implications of fast fashion are, well, they can be truly heartbreaking.
They really can. The fashion industry is one of the most labor-dependent industries in the world. It employs over 60 million garment workers globally.
60 million?
And a staggering 80% of these workers are women. While it provides jobs, these are often under really exploitative conditions. We're talking incredibly low wages, like $32 a month for H&M workers in Ethiopia, for example.
$32 a month?
A month, plus long hours, averaging 11 hours a day, and often highly unsafe environments. The tragic Rana Plaza factory collapsed in Bangladesh back in 2013 that killed over 1,132 workers. It's just a stark, devastating example of these dangers.
Over 1,000 lives lost. Just for cheap clothes. It's horrifying.
It is. And shockingly, in places like Shine's Guangzhou workshops in southern China, workers reportedly endure 75-hour shifts
75 hours a week.
a week, and they're paid as little as $5 an hour, often living in small rented rooms right above the factories themselves. This whole system of outsourcing to low-wage countries and using these export processing zones, or EPZs, which are basically designated areas in developing countries with relaxed labor laws and tax incentives to attract foreign factories.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it just perpetuates cycles of dependence and inequality.
And it's not just the physical labor conditions, right? There are direct health impacts too, not just for the workers, but potentially for us as consumers.
Yes, absolutely. Remember those 8,000 harmful chemicals we mentioned in production?
Yeah.
Many of those are used in synthetic clothing production. They include known carcinogens and hormone disruptors. These pose severe risks to both the garment workers handling them daily and ultimately to us, the consumers. These chemicals can evaporate into the air we breathe or be absorbed through our skin.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, causing allergic reactions and, in some cases, even harming children before birth. It's truly an invisible risk baked into the clothes.
So, with all this laid bare, the environmental damage, the human cost, it might feel, frankly, a bit overwhelming, hopeless even. But this leads us to a crucial question. Is there a way to break this cycle? Can we actually do something? And the answer is yes, there absolutely is. We have more power than we often realize, both as consumers and, by supporting larger systemic changes.
Absolutely. There are many consumer-driven solutions, and buying secondhand is just a fantastic starting point.
Yeah, I love secondhand shopping.
Right. It gives clothing a new life, saves you money, helps you find really unique items that stand out, and it supports charities like Oxfam, which even runs a Secondhand September campaign to encourage exactly this. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, promoting circular fashion is absolutely key. Research suggests that simply extending the lifespan of your clothes by just 9 months, not even a year, can cut waste by 22% and save 33% of the water consumption associated with that item.
Just 9 months makes that much difference.
It really does. And there are other actionable tips, too. Organizing clothing swaps with friends, renting clothes for special occasions instead of buying something new you'll wear once. Even just shopping in your own closet first to avoid buying duplicates. And consciously investing in timeless, high-quality pieces that are actually designed to last.
That makes sense. It's a different mindset.
Totally. It all comes back to what's often called the 5 R's of responsible style. Refuse impulse buys, reduce overall consumption, reuse items as much as possible, repair broken clothing instead of tossing it, and recycle properly when it's truly at the end of its life.
Refuse, reduce, reuse, repair, recycle.
Got it. And to help you spot fast fashion when you're out shopping, look for those telltale signs. Cheap materials like polyester or nylon, huge volumes of new arrivals constantly chasing micro-trends, and limited quantities designed to create that urgency buy. Plus, there are resources like the app Good On You that can help you find ethical brand ratings.
That's really helpful. But beyond our own choices, it's also really exciting to see the innovation happening within the industry itself and through policy changes too, right?
Definitely. We're seeing a clear shift towards more sustainable materials, moving away from things like conventional cotton, polyester, and spandex, towards organic and recycled options like organic cotton, hemp, linen, and fabrics made from recycled plastic bottles.
And crucially, ethical production seems to be gaining traction. You mentioned looking for brands committed to safe working conditions, fair wages, reducing their carbon footprint.
Exactly. And these are often indicated by certifications you can look for, like Certified B Corporation or Fair Trade labels.
You mentioned companies like DUR, Patagonia, Everlane, Veja. They're kind of leading the way.
Yeah, they're examples of brands that really try to prioritize ethical practices, transparency about their supply chains, and product longevity. Patagonia even famously offers repairs to extend the life of their garments.
That's a powerful statement, offering repairs.
It really is. And another particularly exciting area is the role of technological advancements. Take air dyeing technology, for example. It uses air instead of water to dye garments.
Air instead of water.
Yeah.
How does that work?
It's complex, but the result is it reduces water use by an astounding 95%, greenhouse gas emissions by 84%, and energy use by 87%.
Wow, those numbers are huge.
They are. And there are also new bleaching methods, like using oxygen-based agents or ozone that avoid harsh traditional chemicals, and functional finishes that use natural alternatives like beeswax or aloe vera instead of synthetics. Even things like 3D design and artificial intelligence are being used in manufacturing now to cut down on sample waste and personalized production.
And you mentioned washing machine filters earlier.
Yes, that's a concrete policy step. France, for instance, is mandating them by 2025. These filters can actually reduce microfiber release by up to 80%.
That's a huge step forward. And we're also seeing the rise of these circular economy models like clothing libraries or rental services.
Exactly. All designed to keep materials in use for much, much longer. It really shows there are viable alternatives to the old linear take, make, dispose model.
So, with all these incredible solutions and innovations taking shape, it sounds like there's real hope, which is great. But
Ah,
what's the biggest hurdle for consumers like us trying to actually make these better choices?
That's a crucial question. Because even with the best intentions, consumers often run smack into the problem of greenwashing.
Ah, greenwashing.
It's an absolute minefield out there. Many companies, even some really big top brands, make misleading claims about their sustainability efforts. Some reports suggest many top brands are actually 96% unsustainable, despite their green marketing claims.
96% unsustainable, despite what they say.
That's what some analyses show. It makes it incredibly hard for consumers to identify truly ethical choices. It just muddies the waters and makes it difficult to trust what you see or read.
It really emphasizes the need for, well, continued research, more collaboration, and a real collective effort across technical stuff, behavioral changes, and regulatory measures.
Exactly. To close these knowledge gaps and promote genuinely sustainable consumption, we all kind of have a role to play in holding brands accountable.
So we've taken a really deep dive into the true cost of fast fashion today. We've uncovered the immense environmental and human toll that's often hidden beneath those low price tags. But we've also seen the incredible power of informed choices and the innovative solutions available to us. It's definitely a complex system, but maybe not an intractable one.
No, definitely not. And whether it's through buying secondhand, supporting genuinely ethical brands, or simply repairing what you already own, every decision you make contributes to a larger shift. The journey towards a more sustainable wardrobe is, it's ongoing, and it's a journey we're all on together. The power of collective action here is potentially immense.
So, thinking about everything we've discussed, what stands out to you from today's deep dive? What small change could you make, perhaps? Or what new question does this spark for you? The fashion industry impacts all of us, and just understanding its complexities is really the first crucial step towards transforming it. And here's something to think about. If extending the life of your clothes by just 9 months can significantly reduce their environmental impact, imagine the collective power if we all truly embrace that mantra of wear, repair, rewear. What would our closets and, more importantly, our planet look like then?